Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia, and welcome to the Frontline Changes Report. And this is the Frontline Changes Report for the past 2 days, for the 31st of December for 2024 and the 1st of January for 2025, basically the New Year period. And Happy New Year for those that haven't saw any of the DPS video, and this is the first one you saw. Happy New Year to you. Wish you a great 2025. The Russian forces basically did not celebrate the New Year. They went all out and basically got themselves super busy. As you can see, massive amount of captures, particularly in Pokrovsk, Kurakhove, and even there is new offensive over in Zaporizhzhia as well as Siversk. So, it's very, very busy. So we're going to turn this off before I forget. And we're going to go into the Siversk front first. Over the Siversk front, geolocation of Russian forces in the northwest of Zolotarivka. So Russian forces geolocated here in an attack out of Zolotarivka, which means the Russian forces have basically advanced in this northeast of Verkhovno or northwest of Zolotarivka, or basically south of Bilohorivka. So the distance traveled is probably around 800 meters plus. So, and probably they're going to attack into the tree lines or the forest in this area here. This is south of Bilohorivka, in case you do not know where. So Siversk is over here. This is the Siversk front. Another geolocation, also indication of another attack, is over in the Ivano-Darivka region, with Russian forces geolocated within the this heavy entrenchment in the northwest of Ivano-Darivka. The distance from the previous front line is also around 800 meters. So this definitely signs that the Russians have expanded the operations across the Ukraine war. As I mentioned in the beginning of the video, this is not the only surprising frontline changes in the Ukraine war over the past 2 days. At the Bakhmut front, Russian forces also surprisingly have expanded their control of Chasiv, with 2 geolocations confirming Russian forces have entered into a totally new district of Chasiv, the Pivnishny district, and heading towards Desata. So and they are also geolocated around this industrial area, marking the return. However, it's not indicative that they have recaptured or re-entered into the industrial plant at this moment. But definitely this is yet another advancement, with the distance traveled around 1.1 kilometers. So that's Chasiv. And although I will always maintain Chasiv is not that strategically important, the fact that the Russians still continue to make advances does show that the Ukrainians may be struggling with manpower issues in Chasiv. They do not have enough defenders, and the Russians basically, just start to, crawl in. So that's what it is. After Chasiv, we have frontline change over at Toretsk as well. And at Toretsk, as you can see, this is the New Year Eve and New Year, and it's crazy amount of changes. Every front line seems to be busy. At Toretsk, this is even more shocking frontline or geolocation. Russian forces geolocated 1.3 kilometers away from the previous front line. At the nearest point is almost 1 kilometers. Russian forces basically is now in the northern districts of Toretsk, and this also means that the Russian forces have confirmed to have taken the entire industrial area in Toretsk, and they have advanced greatly up north. And the fact that they are moving so freely, so far away from the front line, may suggest that Ukrainian troops either have started abandoning positions, like I mentioned in the SITREP yesterday. Maybe people just don't want to die over the New Year, and also it could be a possibility that they have been instructed or ordered to start evacuating from Toretsk. That is also a possibility. So yeah, I still haven't recovered my voice from doing the frontline history yesterday. So in case you do not know, I did a long video, almost an hour long video, covering the frontline changes, comparing the 1st of January in 2024 to the last day of 2024. And it was a shocking video. I honestly, I even shocked myself because of the amount of changes the reflection between the 1st of Jan to 31st of December is shocking. Like, so, you know, do check it out. I will link it at the end of this video. So, you know, do click it and watch it. And so this is this is on its own. This is pretty shocking. As you can see, there's two fingers, you know, or whatever, you know, appearing. And this is looking really, really bad. And yeah, I mean, this could potentially happen. And which means that everything between from Nelipivka all the way to Shkibinivka is definitely under Russian control at this rate. So that's Toretsk. Oh, and after Toretsk, we go into the Pokrov front. And in the northern flank, also shocking news, the Russian forces actually did something over in the northern flank with the Russian forces on allegedly capturing Vozdvizhenka, as well as securing Timofeyevka and Luzovatsky. The Ukrainian mapping only confirmed that the Russians have entered into Vozdvizhenka and hooking up to the northern street. However, based on Russian mapping, the Russians have taken the entirety of Vozdvizhenka, securing the northern street, and also including capturing the heavy fortification north of Timofeyevka and everything between Vozdvizhenka and Timofeyevka. This is a massive capture by the Russian forces, if true, and this totally changes the strategic situation in the Pokrov front, because this marks a second location that the Russians can actually cut the road between Konstantinivka and Minokhrad or Pokrov. And this one would basically continue to head up north. They will cut off the road between Konstantinivka and Minokhrad, and the highway is not that far away. There is a highway along here leading to Minokhrad around this area here, and this road leads all the way to Konstantinivka. The other region leads to Minokhrad and Pokrov. So this is the closest point. This is the exchange, the highway exchange, and the Russian forces basically is on within attacking distance. The distance between the highway junction and the front line right now is around 3.6 kilometers. So the Russians could potentially go for it. And this is a shocking loss of territory by the Ukrainian forces. And of course, the on the positive side, or on the not so negative side, the Ukrainians do have massive entrenchments around here. As you can see, this lightning. Yeah, you can see Ukrainians potentially could defend this area here if they put in the effort with reinforcements sending in. But yeah, this is the frontline change. So I'm not going to do too much analysis, but I just want to show you how important this frontline change is. We move further in the Pokrov front, and the next frontline change is over at the Vovkove, in the Pokrov sector, Vovkove and Salone. In both situations, the Russian forces head west. At Vovkove, they secured the Gali region, and at Salone, they are on the verge of full capture of Salone. So, and both of these advances are threatening the highway, which leads from Pokrov all the way to Zaporizhzhia. So the distance between the front line and the highway is now merely 1.7 kilometers. So the Russians are getting really, really close. And so this is a pretty significant frontline change over the Pokrov sector as well. Both of it is Pokrov front. And you can see how this crabby hands is starting to grow on both sides of Pokrov and Minokhrad. So, and we go further south at Novoyelizaveta. The Russian forces, similar to Salone's situation, is on the verge of full capture of Novoyelizaveta. Russian forces have captured almost the entirety, including the southern part of Novoyelizaveta. This mapping is from the Ukrainian mapping by Deep State UA. So the Russians definitely was very busy on the 1st of January. And yeah, we will continue to monitor and see how this continue to play out. In the north, there was a geolocation of Russian forces heading in the direction of Novo-Alexandrivka. So there is some advancement in this area as well as the Russians goes down the Gali. And this distance from the previous front line is around 300 meters. And if the Russians continue to head down this way, which most likely they would, they will reach all the way to Novo-Alexandrivka and basically cut off the rear positions of the Ukrainians' Usmanivka and Novovasilivka position. And from this area, the Russians could also head towards Novosibirsk, changing the strategic situation in this sector, heading towards the Dnipro-Donetsk border. So this is very, very significant. And over in the Slovianka, Nosonsivka region, Russian forces have secured the northwest of Sonsivka, as well as heading into Petropavlivka. The Russian forces have entered into Petropavlivka, confirmed by geolocation, and securing the entire western outskirts of Sonsivka, with Russian forces continuing to expand. And yeah, the distance traveled from Petropavlivka to the previous front line is around 2 kilometers. So this is pretty significant, as the Russians are seemingly unstoppable at this moment. Or the Ukrainians are not trying to stop the Russians at all at this rate. So over at Kurakhove itself, I did mention in the headlines in the sit rep yesterday, the Ukrainians have abandoned Kurakhove, and honestly, this is exactly what it seems to be. Russian forces geolocated at the very end of the power plant, confirming Russians' full capture of the power plant. The fighting has moved towards into the industrial area, and of course they don't come from the sea, but yeah. So, and then they captured more grounds along Kurakhove. The entirety of Kurakhove is almost on the verge of full capture. In the south, the southern flank is continuing to develop, with the Russian forces capturing the entire line of fortifications, and they're starting to take up very strong positions along the tree lines. And the entire Pivdene micro district is now fully captured. Russian forces have secured the entirety of the eastern part of Kurakhove, or the central part of Kurakhove for that matter. And this means that the Russians could potentially now hit down the this entire entrenchment line to close off the entire of the Kurakhove salient that is currently developed in this area. So the Battle of Kurakhove continues, but the end is 9. So, and we move further on from the Kurakhove region to Nekushne over the Velyka Novosilka sector, with Russian forces expanding their hold of control along the tree lines heading towards Vremivka. So this is exactly as I have predicted how it will play out. The Russians are indeed pushing down this direction. So we shall see how this continue to move. With the front line moved around 800 meters at Vremivka, Nekushne region, and there is also some more. Over at the Zaporizhzhia front, there is frontline changes over in the Bilokhaya region in the Orykiv sector. Bilokhaya is over this region, and Russian forces surprisingly geolocated on the eastern part of Bilokhaya, confirming Russian forces have actually full control of Lukhivsky, and this is probably how they actually entered, with an attack coming from the east. And this also means that the Russian forces have full control of everything on the eastern shore of the Honka River, and this means that the Russian mapping over at Lukhivsky is actually correct, and the Russian forces basically enter into Bilokhaya. And this is also pretty significant, because this marks an offensive operation by the Russian forces, and they are most likely going to capture Bilokhaya within the next few days, and which means they are going to have a position to attack towards Malatomachka. So anyway, these are all of the frontline changes for the past 2 days, and this is a lot. Like, the video is already 30 minutes. And we are talking about like 31st of December and 1st of January holidays. And the Russians did not have any holidays. In fact, they worked even harder, starting new offensive operations. So, very, very significant. If you look at the total area captured, the biggest is of Pokrovsk, due to the main thing is due to the offensive over in the Vostepzenka region. This is significant and contributed to much of this capture. And of course, Kurakhove was pretty big as well, which is second highest because of the collapse of the Ukrainian defense over at Kurakhove itself. So that contributed a lot. And as of significance, even Siversk have 1.7 square kilometers captured, Bakhmut 0.91, Toretsk 1.16, and then you have Zaporizhzhia 3.22 square kilometers. So the Russians actually expanded operations in 2025, and I'm very curious to see how much the Russians is going to push in 2025. Looks like they are not going to give the Ukrainians any time to breathe. 6th of January is coming. I'm not sure if it's going to be 6, but I think 8. I cannot remember when is the Trump's inauguration. It's unclear how Trump is going to influence, but let's count the total area captured. So let me take out my calculator. Okay, so let's look for a nice place to do the counting. So let's do it here. So let's so we have 1.7 plus 1.91 plus 1.16 plus 11.65 plus 9.83 plus 0.63 plus 3.22. So the total area captured by the Russian forces is 29.1 square kilometers. Is slightly more than the previous days. The previous few days it was around 10 square kilometers on average. So this one is around 15 square kilometers per day. So it's still pretty significant. It's slightly increased. Probably the 0.5 largely is the new ones, or maybe. But anyway, let's continue to monitor. Things are going to get pretty exciting in 2024 in the Ukraine war as the Ukrainian defense start to crack. We will start to see more bigger frontline changes, I believe, in 2025. Anyway, thank you for watching. Do press the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next update. And check out the frontline history for the past 2024 year. And I'll see you guys. Bye.